So good day, my dear learners. I'm here again, Teacher Eva, for your oral communication and context, and we'll be discussing to you the nature and functions of communication, together with its process, of course. So in short, I will be discussing to you the nature, process, and functions of communication. Hi.
It's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun. Life's still finishing one, yeah. Memories we should never let go. So tell me who you love, baby. Take a moment to
So at the end of this discussion, you learners are expected to first, define communication. Second, explain the nature and process of communication. And third, discuss the functions of communication. So, are you ready? So, let's get there. Before we start with our actual discussion, let's take a look with these 4 pictures. The first picture is perhaps someone who is listening to a YouTube teaching merely to get information. The second picture shows, I think, friends who are talking with the use of computer or through internet. The third one is just a picture of a girl listening to a music using her mobile phone with the aid, of course, of her earphones. Here we come with the last picture. So as you can see, the kids are listening to the storytelling of the teacher. Yes? My dear learners, with those 4 pictures that I've showed you a while ago, do you think there is communication between the people there talking with each other or talking with one another? Do you think there is a communication between them? If your answer is yes, your answer is absolutely correct because there is a communication between them. Do you agree? So, let's proceed. Moving on, let me know first, what do you know about communication? So, let us answer these 3 questions. Okay, first question. Which functions of communication allows individuals to interact with others? A. Control. B. Emotional expression. C. Motivation. D. Social interaction. What is your answer? Okay, let us check. If your answer is letter D, social interaction, it's correct. Congratulations. Okay, let us proceed to question number 2. What element of communication refers to the communication situation or the environment where the communication takes place? A. Channel. B. Message. C. Encoding. D. Context. Okay, let me know your answer. The correct answer is letter D. Context. So, congratulations to those who get the correct answer. Here we come with the last question. Which of the following refers to the two-way process of reaching mutual understanding in which the participants not only exchange information but also create and share meaning within and across channels? A. Channeling. B. Communication. C. Encoding. D. Speaking and listening. Okay, what is your answer? The correct answer is, of course, none other than letter B, communication. My dear learners, how do you find the questions? Is it easy? Yes? Easy as a piece of cake? So let's proceed to the next. My dear learners, let us define communication first. Communication is a Latin word communicare, meaning to share. It is a two-way process of reaching mutual understanding. Participants not only exchange information but also create and share meaning within and across channels, contexts, media, and cultures. One will say two-way process of reaching mutual understanding. It is needed that there are at least two persons involved in the communication process. So one is speaking and the other one is listening, and vice versa. In this process, the two persons involved are not only giving or exchanging information, but the information they are exchanging has also meaning, and it has channels on how the communication will take place, and also the place, the context. There's a need for media that they are going to use. And of course, cultures is always a part or are always a part of this communication. Now, let us define what communication is. Can you define what is communication? Anybody? So, please join me. Another way, communication by its nature is said to be dynamic, interactive, and symbolic process that involves the effective transmission of facts, ideas, thoughts, feelings, and values. Now that we are done giving the definition of communication, let us know the nature of communication. So are you familiar with those four nature of communication? I said that communication by nature is being described by four. Yes, four. What are those? The first one is process. The second one is dynamic. The third one is symbolic. And can you guess the fourth one? Yes, the fourth one is interactive, in no particular order. So let me discuss to you those four. So be with me and listen. Let's start with communication as a process. So as you can see on the figure, there are four words there. Started with speaker, message, channel, and receiver. Meaning to say, these are the steps in transmitting messages. So there's a need for a speaker first. Then the speaker must have the message to be sent. And of course, to be sent the message, there's a need for channel. Okay, as a means. And of course, that message should have the receiver, which is the last. Second, communication as interactive. Of course, there's a need for a sender and a receiver of the message. And there is what we call that stimulation and response. Meaning to say, as communication takes place, there is a need for sender and receiver of messages. And there is the what we call interstimulation and response of those messages. So in short, the messages should be continuous. In communication, there is always a sender of the message and right away the response of other person and vice versa. Communication will not take place without the message and of course without the response to the message. Communication by nature is said to be symbolic. Why symbolic? Because communication could be verbal or non-verbal or combination of verbal and non-verbal. Okay, you can observe those three on the given pictures. When we say verbal, it is in a form of spoken or written words, while when we say nonverbal, it is a form or it is in a form of actions. And of course, when we say verbal and nonverbal, that is combination of words and actions. Okay, let's start from the top picture. It is verbal because the statement is directly stated by the speaker to the listener. On the middle picture, it is non-verbal. Why non-verbal? Non-verbal because there's no spoken or written words that can be seen on the picture. It's only an action showing that the man is trying to beat the kid. The last picture is the combination of verbal and non-verbal. Why? Because there is the spoken words, the ha ha ha, meaning to say, the teachers are laughing. And aside from that, at the same time, they are pointing their fingers toward that boy being bullied by them. And lastly, communication by nature is dynamic. Why dynamic? Because it involves a variety of forces and activities interacting over time. Yes, it is combination of forces and activities interacting. As you can see on the pictures given, there are several activities they are doing. Okay, they are communicating. They are conversing. At the same time, they are moving with the use of their gestures. They are conversing. So it is dynamic. At a specific time, communication may take place in different contexts, in different areas, in different activities. So interaction is always happening in different places. Hey, my dear learners, I hope that you learned something today. So you already have the definition of communication and of course the nature of communication. Okay, I'm telling you, we are not yet done. So on my next lesson, I will be discussing to you the elements of communication, the process of communication, and of course, the last one, the functions of communication. So for the meantime, yun lang muna, and I am hoping that you will be with me in every discussion that I'm going to have in my YouTube channel. So if you're just new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. And please hit the notification bell so you will be updated with my upcoming discussions on oral communication in context. So see you next time on my next discussion on the elements of communication. This is Teacher Ebs and Babush.